The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good.
Hi, Tom.
How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico and Haan and Paige Clarke.
Good morning. I'm Nico and Haan. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world.
That's right, Nico. I'm Paige Clarke, and this is where we work to recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms.
Yes, and it's a beautiful morning in downtown Clearwater, 71 degrees. The sun is out, well, just about anyway, and it's a beautiful day. So come on down and visit us.
That's right. Hey, and if you have any questions, you can email us anytime, Paige@TFNN.com.
Or Nico@TFNN.com. And, of course, we're taking your phone calls at 877-927-6648. And today, of course, we have a special guest, don't we?
We sure do. We have a very special guest, and I was very excited that he would get himself up early enough to join us, because he lives out west a little bit. And
Denver, where I'm heading.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
He'll have to give you the scoop.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking today with Mark Hardcastle, the author of The Symphony of Your Life, Restoring Harmony When Your World is Out of Tune. And we were fortunate to meet Mark because he is an author. Well, he's many things, but he is an author and a friend of Bruce Pulver's.
Right.
And they were their same publisher. So he called in, and he was kind enough to send us our own copies of his book. And I'm telling you, this is a real treasure.
Yeah, it's a nice, easy read. I read it in a couple days, and I'm not a fast reader. But the beautiful thing is it's, 170 or some pages of just pure gold, because he always asks the right question of himself. And I love this.
That's right. That's right. So let me introduce Mark, and then I'm going to holler out to him and see if he's right there ready with us. Mark Hardcastle is an inspirational speaker. He's an airline captain and a musical conductor. This guy's got it going on. He's got a few things going on. And after he graduated from the United States Air Force Academy back in 1982, he served in the military for a number of years, and then he joined a large commercial airline. So today, we're going to learn more about his book, but today, in addition to flying airplanes around the country, and he enjoys investing in real estate. He lives in Colorado with his lovely wife and 4 children. And I think that you're going to find what he's sharing with us today will be an inspiration to you and many of your loved ones. Are you out there, Mr. Mark Hardcastle?
Yes, I see him.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
How are we today?
Doing real good. Picture's good. Skype is working.
Wonderful. It's great to be here. You're right. We're out west, and you talked about the sun being up in Florida. It's not up over here
No.
yet.
But we sure appreciate you taking the time to do this and being bright and early. And of course, I'm sure as a pilot, you're used to having to set your circadian clock to different time zones, I'm sure.
Oh, you know what, Paige? I started flying in 1982, and that was the last time I had a circadian rhythm. Every day is Tuesday to me, and so yeah, you're right. This is just what I do. I just get up whenever the alarm clock tells me to get up, wherever in the country I am.
Well, we really appreciate you being here. You know, the first thing that I want to say, and I know Nico and I both have so many questions to ask you, but, how did you actually get to be a pilot? And how, that story is a cute story in itself. So tell us how your journey to becoming a pilot and some, because it sounds like when we read the book, it almost didn't happen.
Well, that's true. I grew up in a small town in Georgia, and right close to the municipal airport. Really enjoyed going up there and watching the little airplanes do their touch and goes and whatnot. Like every red-blooded American boy, I was fascinated by this idea of flight. So I'd always enjoyed the concept. And when the time came for me to, get out of high school, go off to college and whatnot, I thought, well, it would be cool to have some sort of a flying career. A couple of ways to do that. One way is to join the military, and one way to get into the military is, and to get a college education at the same time, is to apply to the military academies. So I applied to the Air Force Academy and was honored and fortunate to be accepted into the class of 1982. Now, I graduated from high school in 1977, so that should have put me in the class of 1981 at the Air Force Academy. I'll tell you just a little bit more about that in a second. But for now, let me just say that at the time, I was not medically qualified to be a pilot. My vision wasn't good enough. So I could be a flight navigator, and I was sort of reconciled to the fact that I was at best going to be a flight navigator when I came out of the Air Force Academy. Went on out there, studied for 3 years, and then in my senior year, somebody in the Pentagon, in a rare instance of military foresight, looked out and saw that they were going to be short of pilots in my year group. So they changed the rules, and pretty much anybody with a pulse could qualify medically to become a pilot. And so, yeah, just that fast, all of a sudden my vision was good enough. And I entered the track to become a pilot in the military. Now, the remarkable thing about it was that only the class of 1982 got those vision waivers. So had I, in fact, gotten into the academy the first time I tried, right after high school, and had I been in the class of 1981, I would not have received the vision waivers. I would not have become a military pilot. I would not have then become an airline pilot as I am today, and you and I wouldn't be having this conversation. So the lesson that I learned early in my life is just because you don't get something the first time you try doesn't mean you give up on it. I was really deeply disappointed when I didn't get into the academy right out of high school. They told me I was good enough, but what happened was they filled the class before they finished processing my application. It was just that simple. And I could have chosen to walk away, pick another career path, do something else, but I didn't. I elected to give it another good shot. And so I went to a prep school for a year. It was over in Marion, Alabama, Marion Military Institute for 1 year, and reapplied, went through all the process all over again. Second time I was accepted, and that is how I was able to become a military pilot and then an airline pilot, and ultimately write the book here all these years later.
Yeah, and what you say in here, it's part of being human that we progress through life in fits and starts. And this is something that you point out in the book, that we often say, well, we're unlucky or maybe we're lucky, but we really don't count everything. All the little things that happen to us that are great, we kind of just, oh, this is good. But when something bad happens to us, we make a real point out of it. And it's something that you put in the book. You kind of change your mind and say, okay, it'll come to me. We don't know how it's coming. And my wife often has this phrase that be careful what you wish for, get specific. Because you say, well, I want some excitement in my life, and you might have a car accident. That's exciting,
yeah,
too.
that might not be the right excitement.
But I like the way you phrase things in questions, and I really like the part that you say, there's often times when I get really lucky, and I don't count it, in a sense. So let's
that's
talk
true.
about that after the break.
And I like it that you say be in the process as one of your key steps. We're going to talk about some of your key steps, and we're still going to learn a little bit about how you became a conductor. And when we get back, we're going to open up with a commercial for your book. So watch, and we'll holler out to you after we show that to everyone.
Stick around.
Awesome.
Thanks.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Hi, I'm Mark Hardcastle, author of The Symphony of Your Life, Restoring Harmony When Your World is Out of Tune. You know, Plato told us over 2,000 years ago to be kind, for everyone we meet is fighting a hard battle. This book came out of my experience with the bankruptcy at a major airline for which I've been employed for many years. Stories from my life and people around me fighting their hard battles and winning. I had my first copy. It was a garage sale day. I'm sitting on a lawn chair on my driveway. Up comes a van. The door of the minivan slides open. Folks come piling out. Lady says, "Hey, that must be a great book based on the look on your face." I said, "Yeah, absolutely. Here, take a look." She picks it up, flips through it, looks at the table of contents and says, "I think this book might help me." I said, "Oh yeah, why is that?" "I'm thrilled, but tell me why." She lifted up the hem of her sweatshirt, showed me a pouch of medicine with a line going into her abdomen. She says, "I'm fighting breast cancer." I said, "Please." I grabbed a pen, signed it, gave it to her. She took it away. A month later, I got an email from her neighbor who said how much my book had meant to her friend. I've heard story after story after story about how this book has touched lives. The book's available to you today on Amazon. The Symphony of Your Life, Restoring Harmony When Your World is Out of Tune. It would be my pleasure to send you a copy.
Wow.
That's a goosebump moment.
Memory. What a great memory. Thanks for taking me back down that road.
That's
Well,
cool.
thanks for sharing that with
You
us.
know, one of the things that living a primal lifestyle is about is going back into our ancient times and what our ancestors did. And, you know, we always had great stories. That's all we ever had was great stories.
Yeah, humans have communicated life lessons through storytelling, you know, since we've been able to communicate, since we've had words and language.
Yep.
So that's, you know, as I travel around the country, sharing my mission and my message. Stay in the process, as you mentioned, Paige. I try to do it through storytelling, and boy, that one worked out real well, didn't it?
No doubt.
And that's beautiful. And speaking of stories, because I do want to get to your key message in your book, but I am intrigued, and I want people to know you're flying big pieces of metal through the sky, and you're also conducting beautiful symphonies, and the inspiration of the book. How did you end up becoming a conductor?
Oh, well, that was another one that almost didn't happen. I've loved music for my entire life. My mom was the child of professional musicians, so when I was very young, she started me in choirs and taking the obligatory piano lessons and all that kind of thing. And as I grew, I started to recognize the cool factor, I guess, if you will, of the person standing in front of the choir. So in high school, I started looking for opportunities, and next thing I knew, my high school choir director invited me to conduct a little bit, and then when I went off to the academy, I had an occasion to conduct the cadet chorale from time to time. But those were just little snippets, not really satisfying, real, conducting experiences. So I just sort of bided my time, and then when I was stationed in Omaha, I was in a community choir and also in a church choir, a pretty big church over there in West Omaha. And Christmas 1989, we were preparing at the church to do a big Christmas production. And it was going to be a big deal. I mean, there was going to be a 30-piece professional orchestra, 70-voice church choir, and the choir director was an interim director. He was also the professor at University of Nebraska over there in Omaha, but the regular church musician had moved on for various reasons. And turns out that during the last week before the production, he realized he was double scheduled. He was supposed to be same night at the university and at the church doing Christmas productions. So middle of rehearsal, I had no idea what was going on. He came over, tapped me on the shoulder, said, "Hey, I understand you've done some conducting." And I said, "Yeah, I mean, a little bit, not really." And like you were talking about, Nico, we kind of defer about stuff that we don't think is real. So he nodded his head, went away. A few minutes later, I heard some of the guys behind me laughing about how Randall had gotten himself, into this trouble. It was double scheduled. And the light bulb went on. I left the choir and went around behind the conductor and stood behind him for the rest of the rehearsal watching, and realized that I could do that. And I told him as soon as the rehearsal was over, I said, "Randall, I know what's going on. Yes, I can do this for you." He said, No, don't, I've got it. We're real close to doing the concert. There's not much time to prepare. Don't bother. I said, "Randall, I can do this. I can do this." And so he gave me an audition right there on the spot and said, "Okay, all right, everybody's out of the auditorium. Choir's gone. Orchestra's gone." He says, there's your air orchestra. There's your air choir. Here's a piece start them off. And so, boom, I counted out the 4-measure introduction. He said, "Hey, good enough. Yes, you're absolutely right. You can do this. Be in my office at noon tomorrow. We'll talk through the scores." And we did. And he prepared me, took me right through the orchestral scores. And sure enough, the second night of the performance, there I was. And he had to leave in the middle of the production. When the lights were down, I came down from the choir. And next time the lights went up, there I was. And boom, off we went. And it was a tremendous thrill for me, and it was a very real experience. Like I said, a professional orchestra. It was a church choir, but they were really good, 70 voices. And that was the beginning of my conducting career. And like I said, it almost never happened. But
that's kind of that tip that you were telling me when we were talking. One of your other key points is to be bold so you don't have a missed opportunity. You could have just said, "I can't do it. Oh, no, I've never done it." But instead, you were bold and moved forward. You got into the process and said, "I can do this."
Yeah, and that, again, a lot of these stories happened fairly early in my life, and I had the great good fortune of learning that lesson pretty young. And, another of my bullets in my book is study and prepare, so that when your time comes, you're able to be bold. And like I said, I'd studied music for my entire life at that point, and I didn't have any real formal training, but I thought, I can do this. And I stepped off the platform, literally stepping into, my opportunity. And if you are too shy, if you're afraid, if you're timid, somebody else will take that opportunity and run with it. So study and prepare. And so you can recognize when fortune presents you with that opportunity. But fortune presents us with opportunities. We have to have the boldness to step into that opportunity if we're going to advance in the direction we want to go.
And also the ability to recognize it. And I think if you prepare for situations, not knowing what the situation is, but preparing in the things that you like to do, then those things will become kind of second nature, and you'll be able to recognize it. That's the way I view it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad always had this little saying. He says, if you prepare, then it means if the opportunity is there, you'll have a chance to do it. And it may not be the best thing you do, but you'll be able to do it. And if you don't prepare, you really don't have that chance.
Oh, right. So then you got to know what you want to do. You got to figure out where you want to go with your life, what you want your life to mean, what you want to become, and start working in anticipation of the reality that will come to pass.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's wonderful. We're going to take a short break here, Mark, and we'll talk more a little bit. How do you respond when fortune challenges you at difficult times?
Stick around, folks. In the meantime, please pick up some Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder, over 310 organic, cell-ready, liquid ingredients, all made to make you healthy. We'll be right back.
Be right back.
We'd like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back. Paige and Nico here, living a primal lifestyle with author, speaker, pilot. Mark Hardcastle. Mark, real quick, we have a caller on the line, but we're getting some nice comments in our chat room. Had a comment. Paige and Nico, thank you for having Mark on as your guest. So people are listening and liking. And I don't want to forget, we want to make sure that people know how they can reach you to get the book. We'll do that at the end. And I'm sure if they reach out to you personally, you'll probably sign the books for them for our special TFNN listeners. But we've got a caller on the line. Are you out there?
Hey, Paige, Nico, and
Hey,
Mark.
Bruce, how you doing?
Hey, Bruce Pulver.
Bruce, good morning, friend. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I tell you, let me just tell you how much it means to me to have three of my friends talking great topics, giving some great advice to the world out there. So I had to call in this morning before a meeting I've got and say it just warms my heart. I appreciate all your words of wisdom, Mark.
Oh, Bruce, thank you so much for that, man. I appreciate you. I so enjoyed your book. I so enjoyed getting to know you, and I appreciate your friendship, man. Thanks for calling in today.
Well, you're welcome. I love your word, be bold. And I was writing something last week that Paige and Nico, maybe I can share with you too. And I came up with the word fear. And you know me, my acrostic messages. And there are two ways to really look at fear. And maybe this helps with being bold, Mark. One way to look at fear, spelling it F-E-A-R, is fail every attempt regardless. Or the other way to look at it is fuels energy and resilience. So I'll let you get back to your show, but thanks for being bold, and I, again, appreciate your message.
That's wonderful, Bruce. We're so glad to hear, and we'll have to do another follow-up with you. Thank you for calling, Bruce.
Thanks, Bruce.
Have a great day, buddy.
I love his wordsmithing. I mean, so, you can take that word fear and you can turn it into something ugly, or you can turn it into something powerful. And right before we left for the break, I said, how do you respond when fortune challenges you at difficult times? And here's something that was quoted. I think it's actually an excellent review on your book. It's part of being human that we progress through life in fits and starts. We stumble. We catch ourselves, we move on, we enjoy, we endure, we struggle, we thrive. Bad things happen, good things happen. How we respond is what defines us.
Oh, and that is the central theme of the book. How do you respond when fortune challenges you with difficult times? And you have a choice. It's been said that there's a space between stimulus and response. Something happens, and then you can choose to respond. So frequently, we as humans react rather than respond. Mm-hmm. And something hits us hard, and by nature, I don't know, Nico, maybe you know more about this than I do, but it seems like our default response is to roll over. It's to give up. It's to say, I couldn't do that anyway. I should have never been in that place. Never should have been trying that. I'm going to go a different direction. And we give up on our dreams way too soon.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And I think that's something that's a response from society. I think our natural inclination is not to give up. I think we're taught this through our education system, through political systems where no matter what you're doing right, they hold you down. But, as you say in your book, those are the opportunities also. And we really don't recognize them as much. So I love that you put that in the book. This is going wrong, but yet I didn't fail. I kept on going. So the old adage that is built into the book is, doesn't matter what happens, is how you respond.
I love it. Hey, here's one of your keynotes. Also, I like the play on the musical experiences that you have, but one of your keynotes in your book is, if you believe you can keep going as long as you need to, you're probably right. And if you believe you can't go on, you're probably right about that too. So it really is about framing and perception.
Yeah, and many great people over the course of the years have said that in different ways. I think Henry Ford's probably the most famous. But that was a lesson I learned from going to jump school at the U.S. Army's Parachute Training Jump School down in Fort Benning. The jump masters taught me that. They had a really poignant way, a powerful way of teaching us that. The very short version is that one morning they told us we're going to go for a 1 mile conditioning run, and off we went and they set a lung-searing pace. I mean, we started at a sprint. And as the end of the first mile came up, they said, great job, now we're going to go for another one. And as soon as they said that, a bunch of the guys dropped out of the formation to rest because they just knew they couldn't go another mile at that pace. But those of us who managed to keep running only had to go another 40 or 50 yards. And the jump masters called us to a halt, let us catch our breath, and then they delivered the lesson of the day. As you just mentioned, it's always mind over matter. If you believe you can keep going as long as you need to, you're probably right. And then they pointed back at our friends and said, if you believe you can't, you're probably right about that too.
Yep.
So yeah, it's always a decision. It's always mind over matter. It's the old 3 feet from gold fable, if you will. You never know. If you just go 1 or 2 or 3 more steps, that might be all it takes.
One of the things that I enjoyed about your book is when I first opened it up, there was a nice foreword in there, kind of an introduction that your wife put in. And my wife and I have a great relationship, and we kind of build off of each other. It seems like you and your wife
Sure.
do. And it was really cool to hear her say that your words really did matter. Your words were the thing that inspired her to take that other step. So not only in business, but personally, that she really got a lot out of this, which was really cool, I think.
You know, she's my biggest fan, and I so appreciate the support that she's given me over the years through this Symphony of Your Life project. And she's been sort of a beta case for me in a lot of circumstances. She runs up against business issues and comes to me, and you know, we brainstorm together, and she seems to think that my advice has been useful to her. I just don't understand, but but she did write a very nice foreword, and I appreciated that. And I just have to say, I'll just shout out real quick to the folks who helped me put that book together. I can say it's coffee table worthy. It's just beautiful. And the reason I can say that is because I didn't design the dust jacket. You know, Paige, I told you yesterday, successful people surround themselves with people who are smarter than they are. And I was fortunate to create a team that helped put this project together that were much smarter than me. And the editor did a great job. The interior designer, who happened to be the editor as well, she did a great job with that as well. And the jacket designer, Lisa Connor here in Lone Tree, Colorado, is a magician when it comes to graphic design, and she made it just so beautiful, and I'm so thrilled with how it turned out.
It's a beautiful book. The thing I really like about it, and the cover is outstanding. When I open it up to any page, there's a paragraph in there that I can relate to immediately. That's what I love about the book. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like I could leave it in the bathroom, pick it up at any time, and the inspiration is right there. It's beautiful.
And many of those keynotes that you have are the inspirational short little things. It's almost something you can just open up each day and get kind of back on track. Yeah. Some realities are out of our hands. That's not a bad thing. And I like it. You allow someone to say, I wonder what he means by that. And to, yeah, it's a beautiful book. And we certainly hope that our listeners will pursue Amazon to get the book, or contact you directly, and we'll give that contact information, you know, in the next segment or so. Symphony of Your Life, Restoring Harmony When Your World's Out of Tune. We'll be back with Mark Hardcastle after the break.
Yeah, stick around, folks. I got Health Signals here. I want you to pick that up. It's only $10 a month, so you get an issue on the first and third Tuesday of every
That's right.
month. We'll be right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And welcome back. I'd like to read a review on Goodreads here. The author takes us on his own, on our own journey alongside his journey of this self-help book. He encourages us to stop and take a look at where we are headed, where we have been. I highly suggest you hear him speak. Yeah, I also listened to you on YouTube. Got a couple of speeches on there, which is really nice. So I recommend that also. She says, I highly suggest you hear him speak, as I did, because although the book covers several thought-provoking points and offers glimpses into his life, his presentation pulled it all together for me. Also, I found the recap at the end of the book useful, taking my own personal next steps. And that's what I got out of it, too. This is something that I can use, and I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. And, you know, you mentioned hearing you speak. And I do want to make sure our listeners are aware that they can connect with you at your website and find out where you're speaking. You do workshops, you do corporate motivational, you're hired by corporations and organizations to provide workshops and give people some of your great wisdom in this great book.
Yeah, the website is thesymphonyofyourlife.com. You can buy the book on Kindle. You can buy it, of course, Amazon. Get it hardcover and get it signed is my suggestion.
That's right. That's a great tip. This, you know, they mentioned, and I think at one of the end of our sessions, I'd like to go over the tips at the end of the book. I think it's towards the back of the book. We can kind of exchange some of those, Mark. But I have one more question for you. You know, last week, Southwest Airlines, had that engine blow up. And it was a 737, and the 737 is the flight, or the planes you're flying now. And I was wondering, in light of this book, how would you prepare for something like that? And once it happened, how would you respond, since how we respond defines us?
Yeah, great question, Paige. Thank you for that. Well, in the first place, pilots constantly prepare for exactly that kind of situation. And in fact, I have to leave the flying world and go into the simulator twice a year. The rule is every 9 months, so it's not quite twice a year, but every 9 months I come off the line and spend 2 days in the simulator where we practice almost every imaginable emergency procedure, including the engine failures, in various scenarios. I mean, the worst case scenario for a pilot is to lose an engine on takeoff right after the decision point. There's a point on every takeoff where, you know, it's a go, no go speed. After that point, we have to go airborne. We run out of runway. We can't stop. So we practice that. We practice engine failures at altitude. We practice, you know, various, you know, fire scenarios. So we are constantly preparing for that, always talking amongst ourselves about, you know, we call it hangar flying. Here's a scenario, here's something I heard about, here's something, how would you deal with it? So it's always on our mind. Once it really happens, and by the way, kudos to that crew at Southwest. Those two pilots did a magnificent job of recovering that airplane after that catastrophic engine failure.
Yeah.
And I do want to comment, the captain was a woman.
Yeah, and so congratulations to her for representing female pilots. But let me just point out, you know, and I'll get back to how in fact, this leads into how all pilots respond. About 10% of the airline pilots out there are women, and so they're still in a minority, and they work real hard to be pilots, just pilots. They don't like the attention being drawn to the fact that they're female. They want to be accepted into the community as just as pilots.
Right.
And so the captain of that flight, didn't matter whether she was male, female. It just was not a factor in that flight. She was a very competent captain and did her job like any other pilot. So congratulations to her for doing what she had been trained to do.
Was
like
well trained to
any
do,
other
and that's
pilot.
one of the things you and I had chatted about before. Was there were some points in the media where they were constantly making that point, but I liked what you said. She's a professional. She's a pilot. He or she, no matter what, they handled the situation.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's talk about how to handle when life goes badly out of tune, as it did that day for them. That engine blew up, and very sudden, very startling. But what we're trained to do as pilots is the big picture is whenever anything bad happens, fly the airplane. Just stop and fly the airplane. Don't react. It's like I said at the very beginning of the broadcast, there's a space between stimulus and response. We learned early in the flying world, over 100 years ago, that we often compound problems by reacting too quickly. Tell you a quick story. Back the first guy who broke the speed of sound, Chuck Yeager, was a test pilot. Very famous guy. You may have heard of him. And his philosophy back in the day, decades ago, it was common for people to smoke. He was a smoker. And when he was in a test scenario and he had a fire warning or some other emergency happened, his practice was to do nothing but fly the airplane, and mentally he would go through the process of pulling a cigarette pack out of his sleeve, take a cigarette out, put it in his lips, light a match, take a couple of drags on the cigarette before he did anything that had anything to do with the emergency. What that allowed him to do was take a couple of breaths, really look around, figure out what really happened, and now how is the best way for me to respond? And so that's what we learned to do. Fly the airplane, analyze the situation, take appropriate action, then land as soon as conditions permit, which is what those Southwest pilots did. Sometimes it requires a diversion from our original plan. They did not continue to their destination. They chose to land short and get the airplane on the ground before anything worse happened. So, we can apply that to our lives. We can use those pilots from Southwest as great life examples of how to respond appropriately in a dire situation. And the outcome for them, because they did not react, they responded appropriately, was as good of an outcome as they could have possibly asked for.
Well, there you go. That's the whole philosophy that you share with us in the book, being put into action.
Yeah, it's really strange because in jiu-jitsu, we're taught to be calm in the heat of the battle. So when we practice jiu-jitsu, especially for a guy who's in his 70s and maybe not as strong or as quick as the younger guys. So when I go into battle, I'm being real slow, being very defensive, trying to tire the other guy out until when he's good and tired, then I can do a little maneuver that suits me at the time. And that's kind of what my dad always taught me too. He says in an emergency, the first thing you do is nothing. You take a breath.
Exactly.
You look around,
yeah,
and then decide. Yeah, I like that.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that problem, reaction, solution thing that goes around, but the whole idea is in that point of reaction, it's do you react quickly or do you react thoughtfully?
There's actually a lot of time. Time always kind of slows down for me in a crisis situation, so you have a lot more time than you think you have.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, we're going up on a break here, so we're going to have one more little segment. I want you to tell the people, your phone number, all the contact information when we come back then. Okay.
Sure.
So we'll be right back with our guest.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors.
And welcome back, folks. The name of the book is The Symphony of Your Life, Restoring Harmony When Your World is Out of Tune. The author is Mark Hardcastle, and he's with us right now.
Yeah, Mark, we want to make sure that people know that they can reach out to you. I don't know if Val can show your email address, but we know that they can contact you through the symphonyofyourlife.com, the website, and there's a contact page. Any other ideas that for people reaching you? There you go. The website's there.
Yeah, I'm on all the social media. Whatever your preferred social media is, you can reach me on LinkedIn using my name. I'm on Facebook. I have both the fan page for the Symphony of Your Life, and I have a personal page. You can search for me there. Email is always a great way to get a hold of me, mark@symphonyofyourlife.com. You can look for some of my content on my blog. That is thesymphonyofyourlifeblog.com. And I don't mind giving my phone number over the air. It's a business phone primarily.
Go ahead.
Would that be okay with you guys?
Certainly.
Sure.
Sure. Call me directly 24/7 at 720-840-8361.
Of course, you have a coaching workshop, Symphony of Your Life, kind of an 8-week course. Is that what it is?
Well, it's not. It's a little bit less structured than that.
Okay.
That's one of my popular programs. It's 6 to 8 to 12 weeks, and we can extend beyond that depending on how far we want to go and what we want to accomplish and what we accomplish quickly. And I can customize coaching programs for my latest. Actually, is my shortest. I've got a 30-day fast start, get clarity kind of coaching program. And I do it with individuals. I do it with, as you mentioned earlier, corporations, various associations. So pretty much any opportunity that you feel like you need as a listener, as far as gaining clarity around what we want to do with life, what our next phase of life needs to look like, I can create a program, customize a program just for you.
That's wonderful.
Oh, that is super. That is super, Mark.
As, of course, you give speeches, so a company can call you to give a talk, and there's a lot of companies doing this, of course. And my wife goes to a lot of conferences, and there's always a motivational speaker there, somebody that's telling similar types of stories to get us to get off our butt and do something, I think.
Yeah, you bet. That's my wheelhouse. Do those keynotes for any size of organization.
Yeah, and my wife is very happy that you're on here, because now I can give the book to her, and she's been battling me every morning. Can I read it now? Can I read it now? So, honey, I'm bringing the book home. So.
Yeah. Well, that sounds great.
Now, you live in Denver?
I do.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Denver in June, so I'll send you a little email. Maybe we can hook up for a lunch or a dinner or something like that.
That'd be fantastic. I'd love it.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're coming out.
Yeah, it'll be the early part of June, but I'll give you a shout for sure. That would be awesome.
Perfect.
So we have just a few minutes left. I told you the time would go by. We just got a few moments. Mark, is there a couple last closing words you'd like to share with us, or message? We've got some great points. I just want to tell people, get the book. It's a treasure. You'll enjoy having it. What do you have to share with us?
Here's the back to the central message. We as humans, we tend to overcomplicate things so much. Life can be simple. It's not necessarily easy. It's simple. And at any point of decision, it's just 3 steps, 3 simple steps. Decide what you want to do, figure out how to do it, and then begin. Each one of those steps has their own challenges, but that's really what it boils down to. And then the 4th concept that ties it all together is, once you begin, stay in the process. Never give up until you get where you want to be. We don't need to overcomplicate it.
That's for sure.
I like that.
Life can be simple instead of complicated. We seem like we have complicated lives, but when we break it down like you just did, it is very simple. Thank you very much.
Awesome. What a pleasure to have you on here, Mark Hardcastle. Make sure, try Mark's book out. Support Mark, The Symphony of Your Life.
Thanks, Mark.
Have a great day.
Everybody, thanks for sticking around. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his Opening Call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the Opening Call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.